the 3DS. The handheld that defined many of our childhoods. Although I mainly had a DS growing up, I still have a lot of memories for the 3DS, which is sadly coming to an end as the 3DS loses support. Now, is the 3DS really going to die? No, but a lot that used to make the 3DS special is being taken away. Stuff like the 3DS shop, which used to give you access to loads of classic games, with backwards compatibility with a virtual console, which has now sadly been shut down. So come back with me and share our memories with the 3DS. Now, the 3DS started its life back in 2011 as a supposed successor of the DS. Now, the 3DS did phenomenally bad. What the hell is he on about? The 3DS sold fine. Well, not really at launch. You see, the 3D feature wasn't as much of a hit as Nintendo thought it would be. And not only that, the 3D feature caused many parents to be concerned for the child's eyesight. Don't forget, this was back in 2011 when parents actually cared. The other problem was that the 3DS appeared just to be a glorified DS. This is a very similar problem to the Wii U. So with all these factors, the 3DS at launch didn't do very well. Now, what Nintendo did to save the 3DS, no one expected. They slashed the price of the 3DS to half its cost, making it about the same price as the DS. And this worked as it erased one of the 3DS's biggest problems, its price. Many people found it to be way too pricey, especially for a handheld. So many people would think, okay, I might as well get the 3DS because that gives me access to DS games and future games. This is where the 3DS started to have a redemption arc. But if you want proof that the reason the 3DS was saved was because of its price slash, then look no further than its competitor, Sony, who recently released the PS Vita. Now, the PS Vita was about the same price as the 3DS at launch. And yes, the PS Vita was more powerful, but people still weren't buying it. People thought to themselves, okay, that's a bit pricey, we're just going to wait until they slash the prices like Nintendo. And Sony said, basically, screw you. We are not putting down the prices for you cheapskates. That's basically what they said. And so people very nicely didn't buy the handheld. The PS Vita failed so bad that Sony hasn't made a handheld since. This left the 3DS in a race by itself. But while the PS Vita was dying, Nintendo slapped the 3DS into overdrive and started releasing phenomenal games. Games like a remake of the best game ever, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 3D Land, Pokemon Y, and one of my personal favourite games, Animal Crossing New Leaf. These games are classics in their own rights. How are these games classics? I remember playing them like yesterday. But with this price cut and Nintendo releasing some of the best games in modern times, it's no surprise that the 3DS was a rag to riches story. Now, the 3DS didn't sell as well as the original DS, but how could it? Now, history time is over. It's now nostalgia time. I think we all remember the great times we had on Face Raiders, which was a free game on the 3DS. In this game, you can take pictures of your friends, or characters like me because you've got no friends, and you can play loads of mini games where you shoot their head off. All the memories of taking pictures of my family members and shooting their heads off, it's just too much fun. This game was so unique. The only other game with family members' heads in is Alabama Simulator, but I wouldn't recommend playing that one. Now, the 3DS was full of unique games like this. Now, some of my most nostalgia for the 3DS comes from playing Animal Crossing New Leaf. I would spend hours playing this game, placing paths. Hang on, what do I mean placing paths? In Animal Crossing New Leaf, to place a path, you have to go all through your menu just to place a path, and you'd have to do that each time. Now, this makes the game sound bad, but trust me, it isn't. Animal Crossing New Leaf had loads of mini games to play, had loads of bugs to catch, and it's just one of the best Animal Crossings. The other game I think we all remember playing is Mario 3D World. Now, I have a clear memory of the first time I played this game. The first time I played this game was at Toys R Us, where they had like these little stalls where you could play the 3DS, and on there was Mario 3D Land. And that was the first time I ever played it. A lot of you whippersnappers probably don't even remember what Toys R Us is. This is one of the greatest games on the 3DS, as it's the only game that really used the 3DS's 3D feature, and it's the only game I'd recommend using the 3D feature, as the 3D feature doesn't work too well. But when it does work, it works really well. But the only game that really used it was Mario 3D Land. Not only did it use the 3D feature really well, it was another solid Mario game on the go. Now, I also have a lot of memories of decorating the 3DS's home screen. On the 3DS, you could purchase these wallpapers, which you could then put on. Also, you could download this free claw game where you could earn these badges, which you could put on your home screen. You could create all sorts of scenes. This level of customizability made the 3DS feel as if it was your own. unlike the Switch, which has zero customizability, which is very sad. I don't know why the Switch doesn't just take after the 3DS and allow you to purchase wallpapers. It's extra money, Nintendo. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it brought some nostalgia back to you for the 3DS, because it is a great handheld. Maybe not as good as the DS in my opinion, but if you want to see about that, I recommend watching this video. Now this video is why you should buy a DS in 2023. Now I know you have a 3DS, but I still think you should get a DS, and I explained that in this video. And if you did enjoy, please consider subscribing and join the Insta Army today. And I'll see you next time. See ya!